Ooh, welcome to Ole Walls House. It's me, it's your man, it's your main man, it's Ole Walls, and I'm back with you. Episode 162 coming your way. Got another big show here, talking Super Bowl, waste management, some odds and ends and other things. So a lot of fun stuff coming up. As you can see, I'm a road warrior again here. I'm putting in the time for you guys. So I appreciate your support, your watches, your listens. So thank you. As always, if you guys could, please rate, review, comment, subscribe, and share. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, anywhere else pretty much the podcast goes out to. So thank you guys. If you could do that. Like I said, got a fun show. We're talking Super Bowl, talk waste management, a couple other things to touch base on. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Football's done. It's all over. Super Bowl 59 in the books. The Philadelphia Eagles take down the Kansas City Chiefs. They prevent the first three-peat in the Super Bowl era. Never forget, the Green Bay Packers have won 3 titles in a row before. But yeah, the Eagles take down the Chiefs. They win their second Super Bowl in what's been about 6 or 7 years. Totally different quarterback, totally different coach. That's a heck of an organization the Eagles got going there. And it was, they boat raced them, man. That was as big of a beatdown. I know the final score ended up being 40-22, but it just decimated them. Quick note, friend of the program, Matt Wader, had Chiefs 4, Eagles 0 in a Super Bowl box. He was distraught when the Eagles would not punt at the end of the game. And then the Chiefs scored on the very next play. My guy, he even had one in the first half. It was 24-0. So there was a flip that was involved. He won a nice sum of money on that, but a lot more he saw go walking out the door when Mahomes bombed that one down deep at the end of the game and moved it from 40-14 to 40-20 and then 22 eventually. But back to the game. I mean, after what was maybe some early shenanigans on the Eagles' first drive where they got the pretty questionable OPI on AJ Brown, there was a lot of the conspiracy theorists on the Chiefs getting all the calls came out in a hurry. And I even tweeted, I'm like, man, if you want to quiet that crowd down, that is a bad way for this game to start. The Eagles ended up getting kind of a phantom makeup no call or makeup bad call just a drive or two later. But this was just domination. I mean, this was as bad as I've seen Pat Mahomes look. The Eagles looked incredible. And I had said, it's going to be the Eagles if they can't keep Saquon Barkley in check. They kept Saquon Barkley in check. 25 carries, 57 yards. His longest carry was 10 yards. This was the Jalen Hurts show. 17-22 through the air, 221, 2 touchdowns. He did throw the one pick, but then he ran for another 72 yards. Tush pushed it in for the first touchdown of the game, and it was off to the races. Pat Mahomes, 2 interceptions in the first half, I believe. When did the second interception come? It all kind of blends because it was such an ass kicking. And then a strip sack in the fourth. I think that was the fourth quarter. Whatever it was. I mean, it's 24-0 at halftime. It's 34-0, and it's like, oh man, this thing is going to be. Is this going to be the first shutout in Super Bowl history? Like there was a real thought on that. Cooper DeJean scores a touchdown. A white quarterback in 2025 scored a pick 6. I mean, just incredible. At the end of the first half, Mahomes missed DeAndre Hopkins wide open around midfield. I mean, it was as bad of a game as I've seen him play. And Jalen Hurts, the last 2 games he's played have been as good a games as he's maybe ever played. And what a time for it, man. What an absolute time for it. Just phenomenal. I mean, the Eagles absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage. Mahomes ended up passing for 257, but 2 picks, got sacked twice. He was their leading rusher with 25 yards. Granted, they were down so early. I mean, Xavier Worthy had himself a game 8 for 157, but it came when it didn't matter. Just absolute dominate. I mean, I know I've said it like 6 times already. The domination. I mean, the Eagles dominated the line of scrimmage, both sides of it. Just a virtuoso performance from them. Hard to say anything bad about it. I guess as a Packers fan, the best takeaway is we lost to the eventual Super Bowl champ. But yeah, I mean, what was Travis Kelce's stat line? Did he catch one pass? I mean, he ended up catching 4 passes. I mean, the first catch came late. He had a catch that it feels like in every other version of the Chiefs. Mahomes makes a little bit better throw. Kelce catches it. Was down around his legs. Felt like there could have been some momentum there. Yeah, I mean, there's not even a whole lot to say. Like, usually I can sit here and kind of ramble on about a game, but I mean, Jalen Hurts was awesome. Pat Mahomes was bad. The Eagles dominated the offensive and defensive lines. That's the whole story. Like, I don't have a ton to say about it. It's just, there's just not much for me to like get ranting and raving about. So I guess we'll go to some of the other stuff. I thought the national anthem was good. Thought that guy, John Batiste, did a good time. I think there was some questions. I think it hit the over. The anthem hit the over. My guy went with Land of the Free 3 times. 3 times to, I think, help cash the over there. I don't know exactly if that was the over under. I didn't see that line. Halftime show got some talk. It wasn't my cup of tea. Like that, I like a couple of Kendrick Lamar songs, but for the most part, I don't. So like, I just kind of viewed it as like, hey, I'm not the target audience. And like, I think sometimes people need to just take that approach sometimes. Like, hey, this isn't for you. And like, that's okay. Not everything's going to be for everybody. I didn't like it. Like, I'm not like out of my mind upset about it like other people are. Like, at the same time, like, I'm like, hey, would I have preferred somebody else? Sure. Like, do I like rap music? Some. So I'm like, hey, I'm probably not the target market. Is that the biggest market they could be targeting with the Super Bowl halftime show? I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. There was, the Drake stuff that I'm not up on. Serena Williams was out there. I guess she's Drake's ex-girlfriend. So I don't know. There were some people, really pissy about it. It was the worst thing ever. And, and then every once in a while I'm scrolling Twitter and I see a couple things like, this is the greatest halftime show ever. I was like, okay, like, sure, I guess. I don't see it, but if that floats your boat, go for it, man. Like, cool. I just don't get worked up about it. Like, hey, if the Super Bowl halftime show is awesome, be like, hey, this is sick. And if someone else hates it, like, okay, whatever. Like, sure. I will say, my man Kendrick Lamar is a tiny, tiny person. That dude is small. He's not big at all. Not big at all. I'm like re-depressing myself here though, as I'm approaching the fact that there's no more football till September. I guess you get the very end of August, you get some college ball, but it's over. And you sit back now and you think about the Packers season and how to digest it and what to think of it. Should I be upset? Should I feel like the Packers, it was another step. It was an 11-win season. Only won 1 game against the North, though. Beat up the NFC South pretty good. Like, beat a lot of bad teams. But hey, if you got to beat the bad teams, but what do you need to take the next step? Hearing Josh Jacobs talk about what they need. They need a number 1 wide receiver. He's trying to, talk to Max Crosby and other defensive ends. At least there's someone in the organization, at least. I don't know how much power he wields, obviously. But, some guys talking about the right things. So yeah, as I sit back here and, I watch the Eagles just absolutely dismantle the Chiefs. That's the team that knocked us out of the playoffs. And, a team we lost to at the start of the year. You try and find the good. You try and find the good out of it. So that's what I'm taking is that, hey, the eventual Super Bowl champs are the team that knocked the Packers out of the playoffs. But yeah, just to swing back to the Eagles, man, what a well-run organization. I mean, going out and getting Saquon in the offseason, put together just a very stellar, talented team. Just a lot of talent. I think on the Full Range podcast, MJ had a guest on, and I'm totally blanking on his name. He's the basketball coach at Towanda. Said this is the most talented Eagles team ever. And, you know, there were some other people in the world, in the Twitter sphere, I saw saying similar things. And I don't know. I'm not, an Eagles historian, but it's a damn talented football team. And it showed in the long run that they're a damn good football team. Super Bowl champs. They've been to 2 of the last 3. They've won 2 in 6 or 7 years. So they've been to 3 Super Bowls. They've been to like half of the most recent Super Bowls, or just under half, like 40% worst case scenario, depending on how the years break out. So, I mean, that's a good organization. They got a good owner. Howie Roseman is a hell of a general manager. I've never been the biggest fan of Nick Sirianni, but I mean, he's getting it done. 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. They were like 11-0 last year. I know everything kind of imploded on them, but that's a nice run they're on. They start, they win another one next year. That's 3 of 4, and you're talking like either end of the Patriots kind of style stuff. I mean, granted, that's a long way off, but they're set up well. I mean, they're still relatively young. They're a good team. They're a good team, and they're going to be tough again next year. That's going to be an interesting division next year. Like, if the Cowboys can bounce back, what does it look like for the Cowboys in that division with the Commanders who are on the come up, the Eagles who are at the top of the mountain? Like, where do the Cowboys fit in there? And, I see the Packers in a similar situation. It's like the Vikings are on top. The Lions are on top. What do the Vikings do? Like, what's their quarterback situation? It feels like the Bears are on the upswing. Where do the Packers fit in? So there'll be plenty more discussion. We'll talk draft in a couple of months, and it's sad. It's sad it's all over. I love football, but no football means that warmer weather is approaching us. It's going to feel like it takes another year to get there. It's only going to be 2 or 3 months, but hopefully we're approaching it. So, I'm tapped out on the Super Bowl here. I really don't have anything else. The Eagles just kicked so much ass. There's not a ton to talk about. So let's move on. Thomas Detry is your waste management, or WM. I don't think they use the whole name now. WM Phoenix Open champion. Ends up winning by 7. He started the day up by, I think, 6 or 5 or 6, whatever it was. In a day that could have been, it was more interesting than the final result. If you look at the start of the day and the final day totals, like it was more interesting than that. Obviously, he closes with an absolute bang, shoots a 31 on the back 9, birdies 15, 16, 17, and 18 to spread it out. It had gotten to, I think, was it on 50? Did Berger make birdie on 15 as well? Yeah, Berger made birdie on 15 to get it down to 2. Detry immediately matches to get it back up to 3. And so going into 16, there was still a little intrigue there. Berger ended up going long and making bogey, and kind of, that was officially it. But I mean, there were moments throughout the day. I mean, Spieth started kind of good, I think. Let's see, what did he do? He made a birdie on 2, and then he 3-whammed 4, and all of a sudden he's 6 back, and it's like, oh, he's out of it. And then all of a sudden, Scotty Scheffler, who lights up the front 9, 31 on the front 9, which was the harder side. Where did he fall to? Where'd he go? Where'd Scott go? I think he's Scotty this week. I don't think he was Scott. Ends up finishing T25 after going out in 31. Just doesn't have it on the back 9. Bogeys 12, 13, 16, and then doubles 18. I mean, by the time he gets to 18, he's well out of it. 31-41 for a 1 over 72. But all of a sudden, he was like 2 or 3 back. And it's like, oh, shit, Scotty's going to go post, he shot 31 on the front. Like, the back 9s where the birdies are, like, coming down the stretch. It's like, oh, shit, he's going to go post, like, 64. And, Detry's going to have to deal with that coming down the stretch. Well, Detry dealt with whatever he had to and finished with an absolute bang. Absolutely stuffs it on 16. There were some moments throughout the day. I mean, Spieth made a par when he was under a bush. Through the 11th hole on Sunday, so I mean this goes up. Detry had made 372 feet of putts, which was wild. Berger, on 14, he's still kind of in it at this point. Leaves one in the bunker on 14, and then chips one in for par. Detry still had to make like a 4-footer, so put some pressure on him. Detry makes a 4-footer, keeps it at a 3-shot lead. Like I said, we talked about the 15th hole there, and it was better than it looked. It was a nice little appetizer. I love Super Bowl Sunday because you get Waste Management Sunday leading right into the game. I mean, there's been many years where it's like, hey, double TV works great right now because we got playoff and the Super Bowl starting. So it was a fun day. A couple other little notes here. Michael Kim hadn't had a top 5 since 2018. Did he end up? Believe he ended up finishing second. Was it a tie for second or was it solo second for Michael Kim? Tie for second with Daniel Berger. Obviously, Daniel Berger playing well. I mean, this was a guy who was playing some good golf, has won at some really nice places, has some good wins on the record, had some back surgery, has been really battling back. I think played very well at the end of last year to keep his card for this year. So he, when's his last win? His last win is at AT&T. So he's won FedEx twice, the Charles Schwab once. He won at AT&T. He's played well. He was in it at the Travelers. Oh yeah, lost to Spieth at the 2017 Travelers. Spieth holdout. Went to a playoff at the Honda. I mean, those are tough places to play. What's he been like in the majors here? I mean, 2021, that was leading into the year. He was on the Ryder Cup team, T7 and T8 at the U.S. Open and the British Open. So nice to see him back. And Justin Thomas, I thought was a pretty funny comment, was that nobody has more of my money than any player out here than Daniel Berger. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just really it was a more fun day. Jordan Spieth, that was the first time he's finished within 12 shots of the lead. 12 shots of the lead in over a year, I think, since the Waste Management last year. So he seems to be playing a little better, post the wrist surgery here. We talked about it a little bit last week at AT&T. He had a rough day, but had a better Sunday. This was a little bit more of a complete week. He had was it Thursday or Friday? I think it was Friday. He eagled the both par 5s on the back 9. So the Spieth experience, golf's better when we're dealing with the Spieth experience. So yeah, it was fun. I love Phoenix. It's a great tournament. And, unfortunately, instead of going to Genesis at Riv this coming week and kind of building on what is this really fun stretch of the schedule, we got to go back to Torrey. Torrey's not my favorite place in the world, but we're going back there. So Torrey Pines for the Genesis Open Tigers event. So Tiger will be in action. So that should be, there's some intrigue to it. Better field, it's an elevated event, so we're gonna have a good field there. So we'll have some good stuff going forward. So it's this is about to become a golf podcast again. It's that time of year, so buckle up. We'll be talking a lot more golf moving forward here. Let's cover some other sports here. Let's start college basketball. Heels absolutely squeak one out. 1 point win over Pitt, who they'd lost to last week. First game back since the Duke game. Ian Jackson, 22 minutes, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 0 points. They did get 17 from Venel and Lubin, though. So that was a nice little surprise. Drake Powell had a nice little game there, 10 points. Jalen Washington, who I can't quite figure out, only scores 2 points. I mean, Heels are in a weird spot. I believe tonight they play Clemson later tonight. That's going to be important. That's a game they're going to need to win, I think, to help bolster a resume to make the tournament. Because I don't think they're getting a lot from wins over Syracuse, Virginia, Florida State, Miami, or Virginia Tech. So I think they for sure need to beat Clemson, win the rest, and maybe they can get into the tournament if they don't beat Duke. But a win against Clemson and a win against Duke would be would be majorly helpful, you would say. It's a weird spot. Duke does go down over the weekend, though. The Blue Devils took him 15. 15 was what I awarded him from in my confidence pool. That didn't matter. That did not matter. They chose to just stick it to me. Because why wouldn't they? Duke just sticking it to me. Where'd they go? I've lost it. I'll have to change my parameters here on my app. Yeah, Clemson takes him down. So, yeah, Clemson's coming right into town. Clemson's looking for the old Tobacco Road double shot here. See if Clemson can get it done. But, yeah, Alabama survived. Arizona takes down Texas Tech. Florida beats Auburn. I think Auburn actually maintained the number one ranking despite losing to Florida. Creighton takes down Marquette. That was a highly ranked team there. Just looking around, Tennessee wins big. Kentucky beats South Carolina. So John Calipari does not go back into. Wait, no, he's with Arkansas. They already played. Nope, I don't know why I thought he was South Carolina. I'm an idiot. But we're sneaking up on this being the college basketball pod for a couple of weeks too. March Madness is right around the corner. About a month from now, we'll be locking into that, so that'll be fun. Over on the Flyers front, more of the same. Losing a 1-2 week, but the one win came against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Hold on for a 3-2 victory there. TK gets us a goal with Hathaway and Scott Lawton. Excuse me. Sorry. A little something in my throat there. Weird schedule here for the Flyers. Coming up this week, just a couple of games this week. Just one more game. They just play the Oilers on Saturday. But then next week, go back-to-back with the Pens on Tuesday, Thursday, one in Philly, one in Pittsburgh. So they'll play, in a 3-week span. Oh, shoot. No, it's All-Star break. They're not playing Saturday. It's next Saturday. Or Four Nations. It's a Four Nations break, not the All-Star break, I believe. But then coming out of the break, they play Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, and those Tuesday, Thursday games are against the Penguins. So, 3 of their last 4 games at one point will be all against the Pens. So 1-1 split. So, if nothing else this year, just win the series with the Pens, see if you can get something on that. We'll have to keep up on that Four Nations. Let's see what's going on there. We'll have a good international hockey as well. What do we got with the Four Nations schedule? Four Nations schedule. Here we go. How to watch. Here we go. Wednesday, February 12th through Thursday, February 20th. First 4 round robin games will be played in Montreal. The final 2 round robin games in the championship game will be in Boston Garden, TNT, ABC, ESPN. USA goes Thursday against Finland, and then Saturday against Canada, and then finish it off Monday against Sweden to see if they can make the championship game that following Thursday. So round robin, teams get 3 points for a reg win, 2 points for an overtime shootout win, 1 point for a loss. 2 teams with the best record. NHL rules, except that overtime involves 10 minutes of 3-on-3 sudden death during the round robin rather than the 5 of the NHL. During the championship game, overtime is like NHL overtime, 5-on-5 hockey, 20 minutes until a goal is scored. So I'll be looking forward to that. USA. Time for some passing thoughts. I actually do have some passing thoughts for you guys here this week. A couple of things I forgot to mention in earlier parts of the pod. First of all, the ESPN Plus golf coverage has announced a new announcer this year, I guess, or maybe it was just for Phoenix. I believe his name is Jake Marsh. I guess some sort of Barstool fame. He's horrendous. It was bad. I'm watching the golf, and I'm thinking to myself, at this point, the only thing left for him to do is pass this to the man, and boom goes the dynamite. That was all that was missing. That dude was rough. And it wasn't just me. I was watching. I had it on Sunday, and the roommate's like, "What is wrong? what is going on with this guy? Like, what is this announcer? And I was like, it's bad, right? Like, I'm not just imagining this. She's like, yeah, I'm with you. That is rough. That is quite rough. And so yeah, there was that. A couple things from the Super Bowl. Trump Dog got a big standing ovation when they showed him on TV during the national anthem. Saw Chris Jones was seeking him out on the sideline. Secret Service gave him a little bit of whoa, easy now, fella. Then he got his handshake in with Trump. And the score bug, the new score bug that Fox dropped was horrendous. I mean, you saw all the insert Microsoft Word art stuff that was going on. It was like too big. It looked cheap. It just wasn't good, man. I don't know who came up with that and like what their idea was, but it was yucky. It was yucky. It was not good. It was bad. Oofta, one may say. So I'm in a hotel room here now. I want to double check. Yep, it's there. There's a phone, like the phone back there. You can see it, and it just got me thinking: how much longer will phones be in hotel rooms? Because I got thinking of it because I checked into a hotel last week, and I'm getting texts from like the thing. Hey, let us know how everything's going. If you need anything, you can reach us here at this text line. Like, how much longer? I mean, how much longer are phones going to be in hotel rooms? Like, they're disappearing from everywhere else. I mean, we were talking about, I was at a thing and I was at a hockey game over the weekend and talking to a guy, and we were talking about, he was talking about remodeling his house, and I was getting rid of some like the phone jacks. And I was laughing that my house was built in 2004, and there are like phone jacks like all around the house. Like, there's one in the kitchen, there's ones in the bedroom, and it's like was very much a relic of like, oh, we're being really smart and like thinking ahead. We're going to build phone jacks into the house and like all the different rooms so you can have these in there nice and easily. And then in like from 2004, 5 to 8 years, maybe, like everybody gets rid of their home phones and just operates off cell phones. It's like, how much longer are they going to be in hotel rooms? I mean, maybe if you're going to just try and call the hotel room, they're going to last a little longer. But I mean, they've lasted a long time as is. And I guess I still do use them. But like, the more and more that you're getting like the text when you check in, they're like, hey, if you need anything, just let us know. You really wonder how much longer it's going to last. So, yeah. Couple candy bar things. Actually, let's just do a little food segment here. So, first, let's start with the candy bars. First of all, Payday is a super underrated candy bar. And I was picking some stuff, had to pick up a new gutter extender at the Ace Hardware in town. Ace Hardware, what a great place. They always got the grills in there. They're always like tempting me. I'm like, ooh, I need that smoker. And you'll see why I got on the smoker thought here again. But Ace Hardware, what a good store. But either way, I had to get some. There was a Payday bar. I got 2 candy bars. So 2 candy bars. Payday bar is really good, really underrated. But I'll tell you what the GOAT is. The GOAT candy bar is a Hershey's bar, cookies and cream. That is perhaps the best candy bar made on this planet today. I will stand by that. There's a couple of contenders, Reese's Fast Break and a Butterfinger, but the Hershey's cookies and cream, it's like the white milk chocolate, or I guess it can't be both white and milk chocolate, but like the white chocolate with obviously the cookies in there, the white being the cream. That is just a fantastic candy bar. Other food. So for the Super Bowl, I've had my guy Dean from the Tailgate Foodie on here. He does in the playoffs, he does like a mashup of like each cities like food and like blends them into one. So his Super Bowl mashup was and this one he wanted to include like some Wisconsin into it, I believe was the story here. So it's a brisket, not a brisket, a burnt ends beer cheese dip with mini pretzel bites to dip. Oh, what a recipe. The Tailgate Foodie delivers. I've got all their sauces. They're all American, just barbecue sauce. It's like a mix of all the different American styles of barbecue sauce. Their white lightning is just to die for. It's a white Alabama barbecue sauce. That's fantastic. I suggest the Tailgate Foodie. All their other seasonings and like dry rubs, or what would you call? I guess seasoning, just seasoning, are great. But so I forget exactly what was in the dip itself. Probably cream cheese, sour cream, cheese, a little beer, obviously. And then it was poor man's burnt ends, is I think what they call it, a chuck roast. And then you cube it up, and you season it with their Casey combo seasoning, and then you get them all tossed, and you use a little mustard as a binder. So you get them. I don't have a smoker, so the smoker was the preferred way. Did it in the oven, worked just fine. Bring it up low, and then get them out, wrap them in tin foil, and that's when you mix in a little honey, a little barbecue sauce, his all-American sauce, cover more with the Casey combo, and then you get those until they get a little crunchy on the outside, but no, soft and easy, and smushy might not be the right word, but they're fantastic. And so I'm just piling the beer cheese in with the little mini pretzels, and the roommate made some homemade bread. I'm just piling down the beer cheese. But when you mix those burnt ends, or the poor man burnt ends, and the barbecue sauce and the flavoring from that mixes about into the dip, and then you warm it because you make it cold, and I'm just shoveling it down cold, and I love it. But then when you mix in the burnt ends and the sauce gets out into it, that was fantastic. What a great little meal. Let me see my notes here. Two things. So first, watch Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire introduction Spider-Man, with the roommate over the weekend. She'd never seen it. And so, I'm processing. I always like to process her reactions. It's like half the fun of watching like a movie I know that she's never seen. So 10 minutes in, she's like, "Oh, this is like a Princess Diary for boys. He gets his glow up." And I was like, "What the? Don't you dare talk about Spider-Man like that." Might have been true. He is losing the glasses and buffing up all of a sudden. So I'm watching her. She has no reaction to Uncle Ben's death. None at all. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? She's like, "I'm trying not to watch. That's why I'm trying not to have a reaction." Next thing I've kind of got her like tearing up. She's the biggest softie watching movies. So there was originally no reaction to that. But I'll tell you what did give her a reaction. When boom saw Macho Man Randy Savage started doling out chair shots, that got a reaction out of her. She was she was giving one of those over there, and then she goes, I forget what the context was, but she called the Green Goblin the Green Goblin. And at this point in the movie, they haven't said his name or anything, and it for like a half second, I don't even process that she says it, and then I'm like, wait a second. What'd you call him? She's like, I don't know, the Green Goblin? What's his real name? I was like, his real name is the Green Goblin. So she just out of nowhere got it up. I mean, she's probably heard it at some point in her life, but it was still pretty funny. So we'll end on this thing here. By the way, that's a good movie. I am excited to watch 2, because 2 is the best one of them. And then I was actually just watching No Way Home on the plane. Oh, I watched Deadpool and Wolverine on the flight I was just on too. I don't know what I was expecting, but that was interesting. That was a lot of like fan service, I guess would be the way you would call it, or very meta. The cool kids might say it was an interesting way to approach a movie. It was good-ish. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. Like I wasn't bored, but like I wasn't like, this is awesome. I'd have to rewatch Deadpool. I know he's talking and breaking the fourth wall all the time, but like it was a lot of that kind of stuff. Like really, Fox is gone and all that kind of stuff. It was very interesting. I don't know. I'm still processing how I feel about that. But I'll tell you what, when we landed, so 3 seats across, guy in the middle, we've been landed for a little bit. We've been parked, we're not going anywhere. I'm sitting because I'm not a savage, and After a couple minutes, the guy who's sitting in the middle seat's like, "Oh, can I get out? I need to get my bag." I'm like, "Yeah, I get. Okay, whatever." Well, the one we were sitting at, the bags above us were already full. I thought maybe his was up there, but then as I let him out, I'm like, "No, he came in after I did." So I think, okay, well, it's just right in the next one where my bag is. So he goes to open that. He's like not shoving people, but like kind of maneuvering his way in to get up into that one. It's not in there. So now he has to maneuver up another like box, which is like 2 seats worth of people. And then we don't move for like 7 or 8 more minutes. And I see him just kind of like wiggling forward. Like, it's like, buddy, what are you doing? I can't stand it. Because then I have to stand and like he's in my way. And then I finally was able to sit back down. I was like, just sit down. Sit down. People will file out and then walk off the plane. You grab your bag on the way out. And it can just be orderly and you can be a real human and not be a fucking psycho. Try it, people. Try it. Closing time, everybody. As always, thank you so much. Appreciate the watches. Appreciate the listens. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, the shout out to Kevy, producer Kevy. Thank you so much for helping us get this whole video thing going. Mentioned Dean before. Dean was a dude who was like, just do it. So Dean from the Tailgate Foodie will shout him out and say thank you again. We'll be back next week. We got more golf to talk about. We'll find some other stuff. I'll do other stuff. We'll have to fill some voids with football being over. Football's over. Damn. But we'll figure it out. We'll cover some more stuff and throw some more stuff in here. So back next week. As always, check out MJ over at the Full Range Podcast. You can find him on Spotify, the Full Range Podcast, and then you can find him on the OWH, the Ole Walls House YouTube channel. So check that out as well. And until next time, peace.